Mustaches were a common sight on the earliest baseball cards, but by the early 20th century, they seem to have fallen out of favor among players. In the vast T206 set of 1909 to 1911, John Titus was the only player pictured wearing a mustache. The last player in that era to even wear a mustache in a major league game was Wally Schang, a catcher with the Philadelphia A's in 1914. After 1914, there seemed to be an unwritten rule in the conservative game of baseball, one that was strictly enforced by the teams. No mustaches or facial hair by players was tolerated. Between 1914 and 1969, there were no mustaches at all in Major League Baseball. The only attempt at growing a mustache by a player was in 1935. Brooklyn Dodgers player Stanley "Frenchie" Bordigaray had a bit part in a Civil War movie and grew a mustache. He reported to the Dodgers spring training with it on March 2, 1935. Bordigaray created quite a sensation, even getting press coverage at the time. He was ordered to shave it off by manager Casey Stengel, who said, "If anyone's going to be a clown on this club, it's going to be me." Frenchie shaved it off by opening day. By the 1960s, times were changing in American society, and baseball usually lags a few years behind. In 1970, Dick Allen quietly grew a mustache while playing for the Cardinals. For some reason, no one hassled him about it, maybe because he was Dick Allen. At the end of the 1970 season, the Cardinals traded Dick Allen to the Dodgers for Ted Sizemore and Bob Stinson. Allen brought the mustache with him to Los Angeles. His 1971 Topps card, number 650, is mostly known by collectors as a short print from the 6th series, one that is extremely tough to find centered. It's a very expensive card, despite Allen not yet being in the Hall of Fame. But more importantly, this is the first baseball card since John Titus's T206 to show a ball player wearing a mustache, a 60-year gap. One more piece of trivia about this card. This is the only card I've ever seen where you can see the Topps photographer's knee in the corner. How many vintage Topps cards can you say have two firsts attached to it? Reggie Jackson started growing a mustache during the 1971 playoffs against the Orioles and reported to spring training in 1972 with it. Owner Charlie Finley told manager Dick Williams to tell Reggie to shave it off, but Reggie refused. Finley tried reverse psychology, encouraging the other A's players to grow mustaches, thinking that this would encourage Reggie to shave it off because it wouldn't be unique. But this backfired on Finley because the other players enjoyed having them. Never one to miss a financial opportunity, Mr. Finley created a promotion for Father's Day 1972, Mustache Day. Any fan with a mustache got free admission, and any A's player who had a mustache got a $300 bonus. That's when Raleigh Fingers started to grow his trademark mustache. Even Dick Williams, known as a no-nonsense, old-school disciplinarian, grew one. The 72 A's got the nickname the Mustache Gang, which really came to define the team in the World Series victory against the Reds. The Reggie card is number 435, released in the 4th series. The picture was taken during spring training 1972, when Reggie created such a sensation. I get a kick out of his uniform. It's the old A's uniform last worn in games in 1968, but because Mr. Finley was so tight with $1, he had the A's continue to wear these uniforms every year in spring training through 1972, 4 years after they were discontinued. You see them in all the A's spring training pictures and cards from 1969 to 1972. Look at this Bob Locker card. The vest looks like it's on its last legs. Although the A's really popularized the mustache in baseball, it was initially slow to catch on. The 1973 Topps set only has a handful of players pictured with mustaches from that 1972 season. But we do see what appears to be the first beard on the Topps baseball card at least, with Dick Billings of the Rangers. I think by spring training 1973, many players felt it was okay to finally grow a mustache. You see a lot more mustaches and beards in the 1974 Topps set. According to this poster on Net54, there are over 100 players pictured with mustaches in the set. But there was still some individual resistance from teams and managers about allowing facial hair. In 1976, new manager Alex Grammas of the Brewers instituted a no facial hair policy, forcing many of the Brewers stars like Gorman Thomas, Darrell Porter, and George Scott to shave off their Fu Manchus. In 1976, George Steinbrenner instituted a formal policy with the Yankees that prohibited any facial hair other than a trimmed mustache. That policy is still in force today. It's believed that Thurman Munson was the last Yankee to wear a beard. In 1977, Cardinals manager Vern Rapp enforced a no facial hair policy, forcing Al Hrabosky to shave off his signature Fu Manchu. Hrabosky blamed his ineffective 1977 season on losing his stash, and he was promptly traded to the Royals, where he grew it back. Gradually, resistance to facial hair from teams dropped, and the floodgates opened from there. Mustaches and facial hair became a regular feature of later vintage top sets, more common than the fake pitching windup. Thanks for watching, and drop a comment if you want to continue the conversation.